on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. 'Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe.
Right, welcome ladies and gents. This is the Coffee Shop Conversation Show. I am Nestene.
That would make me Peter, still.
And we are the co-founders of Explore ProTech Entrepreneurial Haven. Every week, once a week, we welcome you onto this show. We create an hour where entrepreneurs around the world just come together and chat about entrepreneurial stuff. And that is what we're doing here today. So please remember, all of the gorgeous people that you see on the screen, they are our entrepreneurial friends. They've been invited here personally by me and Peter. So these are the people that we recommend you talk to. If you resonate with anyone that you see on the show, please go to the description bar. Their LinkedIn links are in the description. All you have to do is go down, and hi, I saw you on the Coffee Shop Conversation Show. Would you like to grab a coffee? And any of these humans would be so happy to connect with you.
Which is kind of the point. Building those relationships and finding people to build relationships with. We've taken our time to do that. So, like Nestene said, if you're hearing something that just clicks with you, something that really you're like, oh, I want that, or oh, I'd like to know more about that. It couldn't be easier. Click the button.
We know it's entrepreneurs having coffee that makes the world go round. So that is what we are facilitating in the show here today. So, and you guys can see our setup here is not where we normally set up. It's not our usual background, right? So we're actually traveling right now. We are not in Cape Town in our home at the moment. We're actually visiting a game farm up country.
And that noise you heard was coffee being delivered, which is fantastic.
It wouldn't be the coffee show without the coffee, right?
Oh yeah, well, technically sometimes I do drink tea, but it's called the Coffee Shop Conversation Show.
So if you were wondering what on earth is going on with me and Peter, that is what on earth is going on. We are visiting a game farm, but we're still here with you guys. And I know everyone around the world, we're tuning in from all over, from where we find ourselves. So this is going to be phenomenal, guys. I'm so happy to have all of you here. So on that note, let's bring in the topic for the day. And I'm going to encourage our entrepreneurs that we have on the screen. If you'd like to come in on the topic and say something on the topic, please raise your hand like that so we can cue you in on the conversation. We're talking work-life balance, integration into entrepreneurship. Is there such a thing? Is it possible? Is it not possible? What is your work-life balance? Some entrepreneurs are like Marlon will say to you, yeah, I have a fantastically balanced life. I work 18 hours a day. I take 6 hours off and the rest, I don't sleep. So.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, and I think for a lot of people, we become entrepreneurs because we are in search of a different lifestyle. And I think what we think when we start the journey is not necessarily where we end up. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs around the world would be like, well, I'm starting this business because I want more free time. And then they realize, oh, wait, now I've got to do my own marketing. Now I've got to find people to speak to. Oh, now I've got to do all my own graphics. Oh, now I've got to do, and there's so many different hats to wear. And then we've got to find the time not only to balance our lives, but to do the things that we didn't realize we had to do to begin with. So I think it's a great conversation.
Mm-hmm. I think it's hilarious, the trap that we kind of get ourselves into when we're like, I'm starting a business because I want more freedom. But and like 18 hours a day later, like 18 hours a day, days later. You're like, yeah, this isn't working out so well. But maybe we should hear from one of our new members. So this will be a debut on the Coffee Shop Show. You guys haven't met these amazing people before.
We might just have to turn this way.
But I know Jessy and Catherine are two entrepreneurs that have actually achieved a work-life balance. And they have a 1-year-old as well. I mean, that is very, very, very
That'll balance you really quick.
impressive. So, Jessy, do you maybe want to talk to us about how you guys are living the entrepreneurial dream and still having that work-life balance? I mean, do you have a work-life balance? Like, technically right now, I mean, your work is like a holiday, right? So, is there any work? Is it all just balance?
So I'll call it this. We call our lifestyle a vacation vocation lifestyle. So the thing that's nice about not living a realistic life, the 9 to 5, having to separate work from play, save up to go on vacation. How we're able to pull it off is we are vacationing all the time, but we're also vocationing all the time. But that's an enjoyable thing because we focus on a small handful of things that we love to do. And it always improves our health. So we always have the energy for it. We're always investing in ourselves and the communities around the world. We're participating in things with people. And yeah, it is work, but when we're doing it together and defining it or kind of looking at it from a particular perspective where we get to actually play or interact, have new experiences together, it doesn't feel like work. That being said, though, it ends up, instead of being 9 to 5, it's like 24/7. But if it's your dream, isn't that what it's about anyways? Wouldn't you rather live your dream 24/7? But what people don't realize is that living a dream is also work. You know, it requires maintenance. And the bigger your dream, the more work it takes, the more consistency it takes. And on one side, that might be daunting to some people, but on the other hand, I realize if I've got like a 15, 20-year plan, and it's for sure going to be chock full of work play in order to achieve some massively huge, unrealistic goals. But that gives an outlet for all the stress and challenges that we experience in life. It gives it an outlet or a way to direct all of your energy, the pressure, the stress, the tough stuff, because you know it's all going towards something big and something that you really love and you're really going to enjoy and really going to get the whole satisfaction that I did it. You know, Catherine's here, by the way. She just put her baby down.
Good to see you guys.
And they're just asking how our lifestyle is or how we're able to pull it off. And
Yeah, of course.
here, why don't you get a little
It
closer?
pushes us to our limit, but we're expanding our limit.
Is the audio okay? Can you guys hear us okay?
Audio is great.
Good. Okay. I'm going to switch. Anyways, so Catherine and I, we learn and teach yoga. That's really the foundation of it all. And yoga is an inner investment practice. It's a meditation, or maybe not a lot of people realize that. It's not just about doing poses and getting flexible. It's learning about how to strengthen and make flexible, more agile, more resilient, your physical, mental, and emotional self.
Here, I got this one.
So with that at the cornerstone of it, with that at the foundation, our health is constantly improving. Our awareness is very refined. And so the capacity to make mistakes or have letdowns and make this kind of turn into work, you know, because work is often like when you're having to make ends meet or when you're having to struggle through something that you really don't want to do. when we come to realize that the depth of the practice of yoga, which becomes a spiritual practice, and it's very much learning about the practice of transcendence. And transcendence is learning about how to look at your human life from a more neutral, higher perspective and realize we are living a dream. This, reality very much behaves just like our sleeping dreams. It might just behave maybe a little bit slower or a little bit more grounded, you could say, but it still works the same way. And it starts with your thoughts. And can you keep focusing on your thoughts that you want to have? Like, can you keep focusing on the dream? And can you remove all the doubts, all the stresses, all the distractions steadily away from your focus and keep on the goal, on the task at hand? So then beyond that, we get to do fire dancing, which requires a lot of focus. We're professional fire dancers, seeking to be the first ever to tour around the entire planet. And then through that, we also create content. So we started documenting ourselves. Our equipment leveled up. Before you knew it, people saw it and they're like, oh, I want that too, or I want some drone shots, or I want this, that, or the other. And so that ended up becoming a branch of what we do. And now, officially just now, last night, we hosted our first free webinar approaching our 3-month-long how to become a professional traveler. Actually, is how to design your dream job and start traveling. Right. Essentially, have your dream job and learn how to create the vocation lifestyle for yourself, because it's possible for any of us now.
Yeah, and it's going to be different for everyone too, because not everyone wants to travel like the whole world in a camper van.
We're really ambitious with that, but that doesn't mean everybody needs to be. We could travel around our own country or just, in our region.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, we're going to find extremes one way or the other. We're going to get people that are going to be like, we just don't care. We're just going to hit the road. Whatever happens, happens. And then you're going to get people that are going to travel for 10 years and take a 10-day holiday. So there's going to be people in either extreme. And I think having the conversation about finding that balance, and I think being in the position where you can go, well, this is what we do. This is what we do. Maybe you find your balance in bits and pieces of what we do and align it to what you do. Because for each of us, balance is going to look different. So I think that's where it's great to have conversations like this, where we can actually pull in people that are from different backgrounds and have different experiences and have different circumstances. So the balance will look different, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely okay. Stephen, I would love to bring you to this conversation, because now we're looking at a different space, which is great.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, man. Jessy, thanks for wow. You blew me away there, because it's something that I think we're all trying to aspire to, and well done to you and Catherine for living your dream. And I want to just come off there's so much that Jessy said in that short time that he spoke. But I think, just coming back to Nestene, is that I often question, do we achieve work-life balance? And this is my own, because I question that. Is the definition of balance is equilibrium. There's so many facets to our lives that we want to fulfill. Are we able to actually balance all of them, or is it more about work-life harmony? What does harmony look like for us? And it sounds like Jessy and Catherine are living in harmony. And you made me think about, I'm asking this question to myself, because that's the thought that you're provoking in me. I think, first of all, for entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs, if you ask them, or aspiring entrepreneurs, if you ask them why they want to become entrepreneurs, especially those that are in businesses, employed in businesses or in the corporate world, the first thing they'll tell you is they want freedom of time. So that's a great long-term vision to have. I think we all work in our own businesses to be that. But I think the mistake they make is they think they're going to get it now. And that's a myth, because they're going to work harder than they did in corporate. Having said that, and listening to Jessy, comes back to them as understand, why do you want to become an entrepreneur, and what is your business about? Do you really, there's a difference between wanting to make a difference and then actually making it and loving what you do. And I think Jessy hit on it, is when you love what you do, you need to live it. Don't work it, live it. It should be, if you love what you do, it'll become part of your lifestyle. And then how much of that lifestyle you're going to give, how much time you're going to give to what you love, as well as if you've got family like they have now, they've got a little kid, is how much time are you able to give? And it's different for all of us. So, you know, I absolutely love what I do. Someone asked me, what would I do if I had a choice? Nothing other than what I'm doing now. And maybe my wife sometimes, and she supports me. She's a great supporter of me in this. But she doesn't understand how I can put so much time and effort into what I do. But for me, it's not time and it's not an effort. I love it. So to spend that time on a Saturday working and researching and reading and chatting with people that are in business or leaders, and that is, or watching YouTubes on leadership and certain leaders that are that inspire me, that's relaxing. She says to me, read a freaking novel. I said, this is because all you do is just business and leadership and so on. I said, but this is my novel. But she's extremely supportive on that. So I think this work-life balance, in terms of, it's impossible to separate our personal and professional lives. It is impossible. The one does impact and influence the other. I think it's really, how do we manage it, and how do we manage it so that it works for us, so that I feel fulfilled in this whole holistic view. They both go together. I can't be fulfilled in my professional life and unfulfilled in my personal life. They impact each other. So I think the challenge is hard to be brutally honest with ourselves, and maybe we need to take time to discover ourselves more. What is it that fulfills me? And then I will find harmony within that. And I might not find it. I might discover it on my journey. So yeah, I think it's very much being very clear about what our dream is, and do we love what we do? Is it only for them to make money? Because if that is the only motivation, it's probably not going to love what you do. And if you do, like Jessy said, if you love what you do, it's not work. And I have no doubt that the outcome of that will be the money that we need money to live. So you probably got more chance of making money if you do it for that reason and just for money itself.
Yeah. I think that brings me to something that I say this to a lot of people, is that money is just a byproduct.
It's
for
the
me,
outcome.
it's just a byproduct of you doing the thing that you enjoy doing. And there's always a way to make it happen. And I made a promise earlier today to somebody that I met quite a few years ago, and we were having a conversation earlier today, and I did say I would give him a shout out, and I'm not too sure if he's watching. So Daniel McLagan, if you're watching, this is a shout out. You can take a listen to the conversation that's happening, because the conversation that is happening is something that he's currently going through. So Daniel, shout out to you. Have fun watching this one.
Pete, there was something also that Jess said, which was quite interesting for me, is that not to lead a realistic life, the 9 to 5. You referred to, and I'd be interested as comment on that, but you refer to 9 to 5 as a realistic life. Maybe it's not. Maybe the life you're living is the realistic one. We just all caught in society, led to believe that the 9 to 5 is the realistic life. Is it?
I wasn't going to say it, but yeah, you're absolutely right. And it flips. We call our life the surrealistic life. We also feel like this life is our birthright, and not just ours, but anyone's who has the courage to step out into the world and experience it. Like, we are travelers of space and time. This is what we're meant to do. And we got tricked into some survival mechanism somewhere in there. So the 9 to 5 and the getting the paycheck to paycheck seems safe, but something that we've realized is safety is the most dangerous thing there is.
Yeah, our security within someone else's dream.
Because you'll become stagnant, and you see this in a lot of people, or you become depressed and not know why, And I experienced this too, where I was very depressed, and I didn't know why, because my life was clearly so blessed, and it was because that I wasn't living up to my full potential. I wasn't living my dream. I was living someone else's reality that was, told to me, programmed into me, and I got out of it as quickly as possible. And then I worked my butt off to be an entrepreneur and to not have to work for anybody else but myself. It took me 5 years, and then I hit the road. It took me 2 tries. I was going to do it by motorcycle alone, and I tried on my motorcycle twice, made it all the way down to Mexico and made it back to Oregon. And then Catherine and I met, and upon our first meeting, I told her about this dream that I had. It wasn't a dream. It was like, this is what I'm doing. And she was totally turned on by it, and a relationship formed. And I sold the motorcycle, and she sold her horse. She had a horse, and we put all that money into the camper, 1983 Toyota, 40 years old this year.
It's an old camper, but it does the trick.
Yeah, but it's one of those things, and that's that's one of those things. It's like Toyota back in the 80s and stuff like that. They were living the dream. They're making the top quality stuff that still lasts to this day. And so we're just carrying it on. We're carrying on that energy, and hopefully looking to not just inspire people, because we inspire a lot of people, but our purpose is to get people to act on that inspiration. Don't just sit there and be like, wow, but get a restless heart, a restless mind, a restless body, and get out there and explore the unknown one way or another.
Hendrik, sell your stuff, start traveling the world. We know you can do it. You can do magic for a living.
If only I had some stuff to sell, that would be great.
You don't have a bike or a horse?
No.
I think I'll add my 2 cents maybe after Lesetja. I really want to hear what Lesetja has to add to this.
Let's just, before we move on, actually remember the format of our actual show, please. Mr. Levy, do you want to demonstrate just what we do after we've said our stuff? And then Jessy and Catherine can follow you.
Okay. Is that because I always forget? So that was a very diplomatic way of reminding me. So I'm Stephen Levy I'm in Cape Town, South Africa. My practice is Dare to Be, coaching and beyond. And my purpose of my coaching is to inspire people to respect each other and their differences. And I choose to do that through the conduit of leadership.
Fabulous. Thank you, Mr. Levy. And now Jessy and Catherine, just for the viewers out there so that they know who you guys are, just your name, your business name, and a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we are Full Circle Phenomenal, a business that specializes in yoga, wellness consulting, and epic entertainment known as flow arts, or more noticeably seen as fire spinning.
Interesting.
Stunning.
Interesting.
Love it. And by the way, you guys, I will be reporting back because I am doing this. Like, they will not be leaving Cape Town without me experiencing all of that. Well, I might set Peter on fire by accident, but
it's nothing new. I've been on fire before.
Lesetja, okay, come on, let's bring you into the conversation.
No, this is absolutely awesome, Nestene. I care about you. So fire. Jessy, what are you gonna do to Nestene? Anyway.
It's actually very safe. We've been doing it for almost a decade, and we've never had any problems.
Yeah.
Awesome. No. Then
We'll
go
see
ahead.
if I can change that.
Sorry, Lesetja, I have to just say this.
Yeah.
We took Nestene axe throwing.
Okay.
And funnily enough, she got the axe and she was wielding it, and everybody was ducking and diving the way she was holding the axe. And especially when she pulled it back, everybody was like, no, it's the only one with the bullseye. And it was not a coincidence, because we also went to do archery. And Nestene loaded the arrow, and people ducked and rolled on the floor and hid behind things. And she was like, how do you hold it like this? and she was the first person to get a bullseye.
Well done, Nestene. Now that just shows what gifts you have, eh? All right. Anyway, I'm gonna bring the Toyota story into entrepreneurship, and the way I wanna bring it in is when Henry Ford built his car, was it for money, or was it to solve a problem that he saw, or was it well, I just want to do it and see how it's gonna go? And I think for me it wasn't about money. Yes, Ford developed to wherever it is now, but when he started it, it wasn't about money. It was about solving a problem. And I think that's what entrepreneurship is all about. And Jessy and Catherine's vocation, or vocation, however you call it, there is something that you are solving out there. People need to relax. People need to find themselves. And that brings in a balance in your lives and in other people's lives. So I think you bring it in quite well. But then you look at other businesses, other entrepreneurs who start a business. And I mean, I've got to say, starting a business is like having a baby. Catherine, you just had one, so you'll understand. You begin with a seed of an idea and you labor, you bring it into reality, and then you nurture this wonderful and beautiful creation, and it grows and flourishes. Now, the energy and dedication required to be successful can be very, very extraordinary, especially for women, because we know, I mean, I know I depend on my wife for almost everything. Our kids depend on her. Whenever there's something, they shout mommy first before they shout daddy. So for women entrepreneurs, it can be more challenging than for men. But then Jessy and Catherine have just demonstrated you can actually launch a business at the same time raising your child, and they are doing it quite well. But is it different to other businesses? It's different to owning a shop where you've got to be in there from 6 in the morning until 8 in the evening. I know people that own franchises, especially your pizza franchises and all that, restaurants, they are there almost all the time. How do they balance their work life and their family life? You know, and that also leads to poor health. And then, yeah, we'll just bring Jessy and Catherine in to sort them out with massages and yoga and all that, and fire jumping and all that. But it is quite a challenge. And I've seen with, because I'm still employed at the moment, where you get pushed to do certain things. You end up working more hours than other people. And what makes it even more difficult, what creates more imbalance, is the improvement and increased use of technology, because you are available. I can be called now, or SMS'd or emailed now while I'm at home, and somebody expects me to respond. You know, so we need to try and balance that. And I think as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we need to also think for the people that we employ, people that are helping us and all that. You cannot call a person at the wee hours of the morning or the late hours of the evening to say, I need your help. Give them time to be with their families. So it's a difficult one. I don't think I've got an answer for that. But the other thing that we do as entrepreneurs is we work at our desks, we drink our coffee there, we eat our lunch there, and we want to kind of even eat our dinner there. What time do we get up to take a bit of a walk? And I think the very small little breaks can also help you health-wise. And the total shutdown of laptop and technology and all that in the evening or whenever it's family time, I think that also can play a major role. Yes, this is Lesetja Mokou, and I am a business development agent. Thank you.
Thank you, Lesetja.
I think that is tantamount to boundaries. I think us as entrepreneurs, it may sound a bit rigid, but we as entrepreneurs, we set our own boundaries. And if we are looking to create a work-life balance, if we don't have boundaries, we will be working 24/7 because that's what's required. And if we're looking to live that balanced life, if we set those boundaries in place, this is the amount of time that I actually work. This is when I'm available. This is when I am specifically not available. I think that is actually very important. And a lot of entrepreneurs will think, well, I've got to work. But what we don't realize is that if we don't look after ourselves first, there is no way to look after the people that are around you if you're not looking after yourself first. You actually have to pay attention to yourself. So creating those boundaries is actually really important. Well, for me it is.
For Peter it's very important. So I just also have to say, you just have that personality where you're naturally like, I come first, me and my PlayStation, everything else second.
Yeah.
But we love that about you sometimes, Peter.
Sometimes you just got to go online and shoot people.
But I just have to also say to you guys, because some of the people in the comments are also like, look right now, what the hell is balance? I don't have balance. I'm an entrepreneur. Like, what's wrong with you guys? I just also have to say to them, like, if you feel like that, that is very normal as well. Like, especially if you're, oh my goodness, if you're in those first few years of your business and you are building the business and you're doing stuff on the side to make, yourself being able to live. And maybe you're still employed, maybe you're doing contracts, and then you're doing like normal life and family life and everything else, and you're trying to balance that. That is hard. That is very, very hard. One of the things that I have learned is that the first thing, if you're in that situation and you're feeling burnt out, maybe one of the things that you want to have a look at first is teaming up with a beautiful friend from Canada like Sondra. You have to find your own friend. She's mine. But I'm sure if you message her, she'll chat to you as well. But get yourself an accountability buddy and decide that you want to work on what I'm titling work anxiety, which is that it's the anxiety that basically, I think it comes with entrepreneurship, where it's like, oh, thank you, Sondra. Sondra's not in Canada. Sondra is in the US right now. Okay, sorry. Get yourself a beautiful friend from the US or anywhere else in the world. But start to work through some of the work anxiety that comes with the doing what you love, wanting to make the big dream come true, having that unrealistic dream, going for goals, changing the world. I think a lot of us don't always think that people that are that passionate about what they're trying to accomplish, it kind of automatically creates this massive amount of pressure and anxiety. And some people respond to that anxiety by avoiding, and some people respond to that anxiety by working 24/7. So I'm the one that responds to
working 24/7.
So if you guys want to talk about burnout, I'm pretty much an expert right now. But then also, what I also have to tell you, start working on that first, maybe. Take baby steps, and then also don't beat yourself up about it. There are so many different people around the world that are burnt out right now. It's okay. It doesn't mean that you need to keep pushing until you're in the ground, but it's okay. It's also not to tell yourself I'm such a bad entrepreneur. Everyone else has this amazing balanced life, and Mr. Levy swims 2,000 kilometers every morning, and Dr. Mayer's running a race and a comrades, and I'm not doing any of that, and I'm tired. It's okay. It's okay.
It is okay.
We'll get through it together is what I'm trying to say. So let's bring Sondra into the conversation now. My beautiful friend that's not from Canada, but from the US, that's helping me work through my anxiety and other issues.
Like, when did you move to Canada? I'm in Michigan. I mean, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump, but it was like, when did I go to Canada? This means teleporting me all over the world. That's cool. Make sure you teleport me on your side of the world so I can come visit you, my dear. What are we talking about? Life. Yeah, work-life balance, I think as an entrepreneur and a mama it's rough. I'm going into year 5. I still don't, definitely far from getting it together. Yes, those business boundaries and not being available 24/7, especially as someone that works with people all over the world. So, it's evening for you and it's 1:40 here. I'm in the middle of my day and you guys are wrapping up your day. I get up and you guys are halfway through your day and I've got 20 messages, So my phone is on silent 24/7. My family gets a hold of me in different ways. So that is one way I keep a boundary, is that I don't have the phone pinging all the time unless there's something going on. Family wise, and I try really hard. I do have a client I have to meet with on weekends, but I do at least take one of the days on the weekends that I don't do work and stay away from the computer desk. So those are kind of my boundaries at the moment. But I'm bad about answering people on the weekends. I will not fib. So from my phone. So it's definitely something hard. But as accountability coach, when I ask people about their goals, I ask about their personal and their professional, because you're a human being that has all of those. So I do feel it differentiates me as a goal accountability coach, because I want to know what amazing business goals you have, but I also want to make sure you are taking care of your health, your physical health, your mental health, your family life, your marriage, all those things, because if you don't take care of those things, then lots of entrepreneurs get divorced because their marriage, went to the back while they were running their business. You ask my husband, he is not fond of my business. He's like, you left a job at the state, thought this was going to be better. Not 100% sure sometimes. But then other times he's like, okay, I get it. So I definitely think that looking at all your goals and making sure you have goals across all your life, all areas of your life, not just your business, is really crucial. And yes, accountability, whether that is a best friend community, like our amazing community where we keep each other, we're cheering on people that are running races. I'm not on that side of the world, but I can cheer him on. Or people like Jess that are traveling, or Nestene, or, Mr. Levy and stuff, we can cheer each other on as a community and give support and resources. So I think as an entrepreneur, the one thing about getting balance is making sure you use all your resources, whether that is your teenager who can do your social media 10 times faster than you, and it's tax free in the US, or it is a community that needs training on something and they're willing to do it in exchange for services, internships, grants. Like, there's really a lot you can do with resources if you just tap into those, or tap into somebody that knows resources. So somebody asked me about AI today. I'm like, I've been learning about that in this community and that community. Let me get back to you. Usually Google's my friend. If Google's not my friend, then my 3 main communities, usually there's at least one person that can help me in one of those. So I think as far as balance, getting people to help you. Entrepreneurship is very lonely. That's why I do co-working space for 2 years now. Somebody even just on the screen with you. I've never met any of them, including my business coach that I've had for 4 years. Never met them in person, but they're my besties. They know all about the grandbabies and the teenager and all the things. So I think it's finding the community that can support you and hold you accountable to taking the break and having intentional fun, on a daily basis, so you don't get burnt out. I'm Sondra Ray. I'm your Get It Done coach, and I'm from Michigan, United States.
Awesome.
Thank you, Sondra.
Sondra, you actually touched the nail on the head in regards to why we started this community in the very first place. The whole point of the community was, first of all, to be surrounded by people that we can trust, to be surrounded by people that have different skills other than our own, to be surrounded by people that know things that we don't know. And I think when people become entrepreneurs, there's this mindset or this way of thinking that they go, this is the way that things are meant to be done. And it does become a lonely journey as an entrepreneur. And often we as entrepreneurs want to create new ways of doing things. So I think surrounding yourself with people that have different skills and getting involved in a community can be a great way of taking off the pressure with the things that you normally would have to do all by yourself.
Yeah, Peter's really, really good at that. Like, if you guys need help with that, you have got to talk to Peter. I cannot even tell you guys like how many different like people type skills I've learned just by observing this man
In the wild.
in the wild, in action.
I feel like I'm being hunted. I know that
Jessy,
he had his hand up earlier.
Jessy, you had your hand up, and then I think we're going to force Hendrik to speak because he doesn't have his hand up, but we'll just make him speak.
It's an illusion. It's a magic trick. It's coming. It's coming.
Jessy, do you want to come in on the conversation?
Yeah, it's not as.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was just so talking about balance and burnout, because it's a fluctuating thing depending upon your health or level of fitness, physically as well as mentally and emotionally. The way that I often teach it to my yoga and qigong students is recognize that we are energy. You know, we all know that, but our minds tell us no, we're flesh and blood and we're human. You know, but what's enabling the human to function? You know, pure life force energy. You know, it's flowing through you. What's without it, we're just a corpse. And so when we get tired, when we get burnt out, it's because we're either pushing ourselves too hard or we're finding a blockage somewhere in where that life force, that chi, that prana, that energy can't flow through. And that's what causes us to get tired. Like and granted, we have to get tired at a certain point because we do stuff throughout the day. The mind's working, the body's working, the emotions are working. So that rest time is absolutely necessary. And I was thinking about this just recently. A lot of people, you know, that like talk the big talk in business entrepreneurship, I've heard before, is burning the midnight oil. And by that, they mean you got to push all-nighters and stuff like that. I don't sacrifice my sleep. I get 7 hours minimum a day. And between that and practicing taking care of my body and meditating on a regular basis, really getting to know myself on the inside and going through at least a minimum 20 minutes a day, it's as important or more important than brushing your teeth. But a lot of people don't realize that. Your whole inside needs to get brushed, needs to get familiar, needs to move around, needs to breathe, needs to focus just by yourself. And we often enough, especially entrepreneurs or people who are really ambitious in their business or what they do, don't give us the time of day. We're too busy focusing outside of ourselves, not remembering that it's what's inside of ourselves that's processing what's out there. And the more you process and invest internally, you start to get aware of where your limits are, of where you're out to, where you're going, when and where and how you might get burnt out or out of balance. Because when you get out of balance, you crash and burn. That's kind of often where the burnout is. And so the balance I found is internal. The only way that you know when you're in balance is understanding, how's this day for me today? How's this moment for me right now? Can I make it better? Do I need to give myself a break? Have I been getting enough sleep? Have I been getting enough me time? Because only once our cups are full do we really understand how much we can pour into all the other cups around us. And so that's just something I've learned is you got to put yourself first and you got to keep investing yourself so that you keep getting more and more energy capable of doing more and more things.
Oh, love it.
That is stunning, and that's something that I think all entrepreneurs need like so much help with. Cheers.
Fill my cup. Fill my cup.
I'll do it later, Peter.
Yeah.
I have to say, entrepreneurship and Peter actually have taught me, and I think Sondra as well, and Mr. Levy, who every now and again he's like, stop working, have taught me to kind of like try and like find that limit. And I have to say, I have been getting a little bit better at going like, maybe I'm just tired. Maybe that's why I'm so frustrated. Maybe I need to take a 5-minute break. And it actually works. It really does work. So, Mr. Levy, are you coming in on the conversation before we go to Hendrik?
Yeah, it was just something that Jessy said, and I in 95 got very close to burnout, and the psychologist that I went to see said to me that the most important appointment you will ever make in your diary is with yourself. And that kind of stuck with me. So yeah, I think it's something that all entrepreneurs, it's kind of the mark that we miss. Because we're entrepreneurs, because we feel we have to be at it 12 hours a day. But the lesson learned there was, she said, all these people, why do you work so hard? And I said, well, because I need to take care of my staff in the factory, my family. She says, that's very interesting because you're about a month away from being hospitalized, and how good you're going to be to all these people that you tell me you want to take care of. So that was a tough, hard talk, but a good lesson.
Just before we let you go, Mr. Levy, that's amazing. But are you going to come fire dance with us?
I'll come watch you.
And that's good enough. That's good enough.
Okay, let's go to Hendrik. Hendrik, I know you have so much to say on this topic as well, like being a guru and having a podcast that talks about these kinds of things.
But before he does speak, let me just say one thing. When we arrived where Hendrik lives, where the gate starts, on the outside of the gate is like stress. But when you go on the inside of the gate, it's like,
it is lovely.
It's probably one of the most peaceful spaces I think I've ever been in.
Yeah. Actually, Jessy and Catherine, if you guys are driving that way, like to Namibia, maybe you drive past there.
Do yourself a favor.
And just
the
pop
wrong way
in
to
for a while.
Namibia. From Cape Town, that's the wrong way from to Namibia.
But it is stunning.
It is stunning. Absolutely stunning.
No, it's true. It's beautiful where I am. Very blessed to be here.
Do you
I
ever
love to
work?
Beg your pardon?
Do you ever work, or do you just sit outside meditating?
Well, yeah. Who wants to work anyway? Love to do a yoga class with you, Jessy. I think what Jessy's also talking about is, yoga is more than just posturing. Yoga is union, and it is about connecting with each moment. And we talk about living in the now and all those cliches. But I think, and you were talking about Ford. So much of our work stress comes from Henry Ford, the 40-hour work week, weekends. All these things are from bloody Mr. Ford. So careful who you drag into the conversation, Lesetja. Why are we conditioned to work in a certain way, and why aren't there other ways that my life also is not an example of 9 to 5 in any way. Yes, I've held some steady jobs, but I've also had long periods of doing all sorts of creative things which you just do, and it just happens somehow. It's through a miracle of sheer will and determination and some imagination, I'm sure. But I think that the problem with the Ford model of being a business person is you work until you can't anymore, and then you crash for a while, and you work until you're 60, and then you retire and you die. And why can't we build those moments of rest and relaxation into our days by being aware of what we're doing, and by taking a break, being aware of our internal rhythms, our ultradian rhythms. The circadian rhythm is your body clock, but your ultradian rhythm is every 90 minutes or so, your brain wants to take a break. And that's the time to get up and go into nature where you recharge very quickly. Recharges your willpower, makes you feel better, and to have a lot of those breaks. And I'm blessed. So at the moment I step out of the office, I'm doing exactly that in this beautiful space. But that's really what you need to do, is to build it into your day so that you don't end up exhausted at the end of the day, but you've taken time and made some appointments with yourself during the day, and spend some time doing that inner brushing and making sure everything is okay so you can keep on functioning. My late grandmother said, the moment you go sit down, you're just going to die. Be useful, do things, keep busy. So, yeah, that's what I think, but also take a breath in between. Hendrik from Baird Media, we are the podcast people. I was going to make a jingle for that. We are the podcast
Yeah, you have
people.
to, like, you can't, like, not make a jingle for that. Like, I will forever be doing that. Big media.
Well, this is where this is where it becomes interesting.
Yeah.
This is definitely where it becomes interesting, because you go, let's make a jingle for that. And then if you just stop for a second and you take a look at the tribe that we're in and the skill sets and the people, I mean, we created our own song. We wanted our own intro. And creating that space, it was like as easy as going, hey, Kenton, we're thinking of creating our own jingle. You know, what do you think? And the next thing you know, a whole bunch of people got involved, and we have our own jingle. And I think that, to me, is almost like an illustration of, yes, we're entrepreneurs, and yes, there are things we want to achieve, and yes, there are things that we have to do daily. But the question is, do we have to do them all, or can we build the right relationships and actually not travel the journey on our own? Because I think it's that mindset of doing it, I'm an entrepreneur and I do everything by myself, is that there is just a way of going, I'm going to run myself into the ground until I get this right. And you might run yourself into the ground before you get it right. And I think that's where the importance of building the right relationships come in. Because if I want to create a project or do something, and I've had this experience with you, Hendrik, where we were like, we're thinking of doing a podcast. Now, why would I go and try and venture into doing a podcast all by myself when I can just go to Hendrik and go, well, you know how to do podcasts. It's what you do. What do I do? Guide me through this process. And not only did they guide us through the process, that helped us to the point where they delivered, and it made my life much easier. We have a decision to make. I can easily pick up the phone and go, Mr. Levy, I need a level head.
What should we do?
Just talk us through this. Can we meet for coffee?
We got lost again. Help.
And I think building those relationships where you surround yourself with the people that make your life that much easier, but you also make their life much easier. That it creates a space where it's easier to create a work-life balance, because not everything rests on your shoulders. And I think that to me that's how we started Explore ProTech. It's how we started.
Also, massive shout out to everyone supporting, watching on the YouTube channel right now. We absolutely love you. Susan, special shout out for you for getting involved in the comments.
So sorry I didn't make the meeting.
We love you, and we will work on getting you that work-life balance that you are looking for. It's been an absolutely amazing hour, guys. Thank you so much for coming together. This is what the coffee shop show is about. It's about actual real entrepreneurs that are actually really doing this stuff, sharing how and why, and talking about and giving advice and giving guidance, and just creating that space where other entrepreneurs from around the world can come together and connect and also learn. And remember, ladies and gents, if you have seen anyone on the show where you're like, oh, that person is so cool, oh my goodness, I wish I had a friend like that, well, you're welcome. Do you know we had to drive all the way to freaking the waterfront to go and fish Jessy and Catherine out of where they were staying to like talk to, and we have to do all this legwork just to get them to be on the show. But now they're here. All you have to do is
Click the button.
click the freaking link and say, I saw you on the show. Let's have a coffee. That's all you have to do.
So everybody that's been here, their links will be in the description. I think what we will also do is Full Circle's phenomenal. We will add a link to their YouTube channel.
Yeah, so you
In
can
the
see how
description.
they're traveling around the world, having the ultimate.
Do yourself a favor. This conversation that we've been having, they're living the extreme of this conversation. A lot of people need to find an intermediate. A lot of people need to find like a certain amount of balance, and they've taken it to an extreme, and they're documenting their journey. So we'll put a link to their YouTube channel in the description. Do yourself a favor. Just go and follow, watch, view. We live and learn, and this is how we live and learn. We follow the people that are doing the things that we one day want to do.
Remember, this YouTube channel, this show is brought to you by Explore ProTech Entrepreneurial Haven. We are gathering the world's 500 most fun, authentic, caring entrepreneurs, and we're helping each other get onto the Forbes 500 list. You are watching that journey unfold. Thank you so much for tuning in every week, supporting, cheering us on, being here. You are absolutely amazing. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all those lovely things. Get involved in the comments. And we will see you at the next one. We are here for you every single week, bringing you actual entrepreneurs from around the world doing actual entrepreneurship, talking about actual entrepreneurial stuff. Until we see you next week, may all your wildest entrepreneurial dreams come true. Bye.
Have fun.